When I think of the most hated or disliked total drama characters in the franchise, in my personal preferences, I usually think of like Mal or characters in that vein that the fan base generally dislikes, regardless what they've done or said. But and recently, Pakatu, I have actually noticed that some people have been turning a new leaf on Pakatu, it seems. People seem to have been liking that season more and more as time goes on, which I'm very glad has finally seemed to start happening, which I already suspected was going to happen at some point. And with that comes a lot of people liking the characters that used to be pretty disliked. Like Sugar and Max have their fans now. Leonard and Beardo seem to get a lot of love. Amy, Sammy, Topher, those characters were always generally liked by a handful of people. Same for Ella. Same for pretty much any merge character that was in Pocket 2. But the one Pocket 2 character that I think is still generally disliked for pretty much no reason is Rodney. Now, say what you will about how he's used, whether or not you find his bit funny, okay? Like, I understand. Comedy's subjective. Rodney's quirks are not for everyone. I just didn't expect it to be that almost everyone in the fandom can't really stand Rodney. And, like, I don't know. It's like I shouldn't be too disappointed by it, but also like I've seen one of the biggest complaints I've seen for Rodney in particular is like, he overstays his welcome. As far as I'm aware, he has got like 10 minutes of screen time at most where he's like actively talking. At most. And that's if you factor in things like his audition tape or whatever. And so I don't really get it. It's like Rodney is barely in the season. How can he have overstayed his welcome or annoyed people to this degree where he's just generally disliked or even hated by some? Like, there's no way people thought he was that unfunny, right? Like, there's just no way. Of course, speaking on in defense of Rodney right now, of course, I personally do find his bit very funny, but that doesn't really change the fact that I do think he's a generally good character. Like, his character design is really good. It's very similar to Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph, but I think it's really good. I like that he seems to be the generally like strong as an ox type character again. And I think his design complements that very well as well. I don't know. Like, yeah, there's a part of me that wishes he did more in the season. I think out of the entire Pocket 2 cast, he's the least utilized. But that's kind of why I think his character is still pretty neat, generally speaking. Is that he's the only character in Pocket 2 that got pretty much no real usage. Like, Beardo and Leonard were also filler, but you could argue in their sense that they were used to make make people side with Dave that were watching, or just to generally get people on Dave's side from the start so that they feel betrayed once he eventually does his whole heel turn or whatever. But Rodney is like, he's just kind of there. And like, he's not a bad guy either. Like, I know that characters being disliked and whatnot has nothing to do with how generally likable they are as like people or whatever. But Rodney is like harmless. Like, I don't really get it, I guess. Like, I suppose this kind of does circle back around to the whole Total Drama fans take Total Drama too seriously. But I don't know. Here, it's like, I don't even really understand why from a non-serious standpoint, Rodney doesn't seem to generally be that liked. I know he has some fans. I know he does. I just don't really get why they seem to be so few and far between, at least. I don't know. It's just really odd to me. But generally speaking, I like his design. I think he's relatively funny and probably one of the more realistic characters in Pocket 2, which I thought was something that people wanted more from the Pocket 2 cast, but apparently not if they dislike Rodney to this degree. Um, yeah, I don't know. I didn't really have a lot to say for this video because again, Rodney is in 4 episodes in the entire season and screen time wise he gets about 10 minutes worth. So obviously he's not a very prevalent character, nor was he ever supposed to be. But I think for the time he got, he's generally likable, and of the entire Pocket 2 cast, he's definitely the one I want to see most return. Because, you know, in a hypothetical follow-up season where Rodney is back, anyone who's previously watched Total Drama is going to know why he was acting the way he is, and so his run will not be remotely close to what it was originally. He would have to have a much more prominent role. I don't know. I just, this character conceptually really, really works for me, and I'm just kind of surprised that the Total Drama fan base seemed to not click with him. It really, it really surprised me, even like years and years and years ago after I first watched Pocket 2 Island. It really surprised me that pretty much no one seemed to truly like or defend this character in any real capacity. And now in 2023, it feels like that's still mostly the case. So I don't know. I don't really have like a strong argument like, oh, here's why Rodney's one of the best characters, because it's like, objectively speaking, he's not. Like, he's not exceptionally well written or anything, but I think he's very, very overhated and doesn't deserve the dislike or hatred that his character gets in any capacity. He doesn't overstay his welcome, and he's got a good design. His voice is fun. His character performance in general is fun. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really get it, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. This is just something that's kind of been on my mind on and off for a while, and I figured I might as well just see what you guys watching think, and if you guys feel similarly to me or not on Rodney. But regardless, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Total Drama content like this. Share this video with your friends. Comment down below, let me know what you think of Rodney and why you think he might have gained the general disdain that he seems to have in the fan base. And until the next one, peace.